Every so often, our liturgical celebration is geared towards forming our affections or even our passions or our emotions in a certain way in response to a certain truth. And our Sunday that we celebrate today is no exception to that rule. In fact, it's a great example of one of those moments where the liturgy is deliberately designed to form our passions, our emotions in a certain way. Today, we celebrate the third Sunday of Advent, also known as Gaudete Sunday, Rejoice Sunday. Gaudete, of course, is that first word, as David told us at the beginning of the Mass, of that entrance antiphon. Rejoice in the Lord always. I say it again, rejoice. Gaudete in Domine semper in Latin. Everything about our liturgy today is trying to form us and to mold us so that we can have that affection or that disposition of joy. We see it everywhere, not only in the entrance antiphon, but even in the readings. In the first reading, we're told to have joy. It says, "Shout for joy, O daughter Zion. Sing joyfully, O Israel. Be glad and exult with all your heart." Joy, joy, joy. The responsorial psalm, again, calling us to have joy. "Cry out with joy and gladness, for among you the great and holy one, among you is the great and holy one of Israel." Again, being exhorted towards joy. The second reading from Philippians, "Rejoice in the Lord always. I say it again, rejoice." It's like joy, joy, joy everywhere. And even in the gospel from John the Baptist, who is basically teaching them something, it said, John the Baptist, exhorting them in many ways, he preached the good news to the people. The good news which brings about joy. So everything about the liturgy today is exhorting us, forming us to have this disposition of joy. Why? Why are we being called to be so joyful? Why are we being called to have such joy? Because the Lord is near. The Lord is near. The coming of the Lord is the quintessential definition of joy. Because the coming of the Lord is the satisfaction of every deep desire of your heart. The coming of the Lord is you and I's vindication. The coming of the Lord is you and I's liberation from exile. The coming of the Lord is our salvation. Therefore, the coming of the Lord is the quintessential definition of something that brings about joy. So it's appropriate and fitting for you and I to respond to the fact that the Lord is near. The Lord is coming. He is definitely coming. He's right around the corner. It's appropriate for us to have joy because this reality, this truth is about to take place. That's why you and I can have joy. We get a sense from our readings, my dear brothers and sisters, that the coming of the Lord is so good. The coming of the Lord is so awesome. The coming of the Lord is so big that no matter what you're going through right now, your trials and your tribulations, and yes, they are very real trials and tribulations. We don't want to wipe those away. They are very real. I mean, look at what just happened with the tornadoes in Kentucky. Lots of trials and tribulations, people suffering and people dying. Very real. And yet, we're getting the sense that the coming of the Lord is so good. The coming of the Lord is so great. Those trials and tribulations that are going on in your life right now are going to be as nothing in comparison with the glory of the Lord who is coming among us. They're going to be as nothing, as St. Paul tells us, as compared to the glory that is going to be revealed in Jesus Christ. And that is why, again, you and I can have this thing called joy. In Advent, in particular, we're being called to have joy because you and I already have some experience of what that joy looks like. You and I have a memory of what that joy looks like. Because guess what? The Lord has already come, right? He came at Christmas. And he came at Christmas like 2,000 years ago. And we already have a memory of what that is like to have the joy of the coming of the Lord. That is why even our own secular society acknowledges with us and sings songs like, It's the most wonderful time of the year. I mean, you hear that on your TV, on your radio. Everybody acknowledges there's something about this season that is just joyful. The lights, the smells, the tastes, it's joyful. We have a memory of what it's like for the Lord to come at Christmas. And if that coming of the Lord, where he came in humility, where he came disguised as a little baby, was that joyful, how much more joyful when he comes again in glory to definitively vindicate us, to definitively wipe away our sufferings and our miseries and our sorrows, to definitively give us salvation. How much more joy is there for the definitive coming of the Lord? And so in a sense, we're being reminded, the Lord has done this before, he's going to do it again, and therefore you and I can have joy because the Lord is near. He is coming. He is nigh. He is right here. Joy. My dear brothers and sisters, you and I are being invited to have joy, to recognize the Lord is coming. He is coming. He's near. He's coming at Christmas, but Christmas is merely the dry run that reminds us of the first time that he came. But he's also coming again in his second coming with vindication and glory. That is why you and I can truly have joy. Our readings today give us a few practical suggestions of things that we can concretely do in our lives to accentuate that joy, to allow ourselves to have that joy. And I think it's very important that we pay attention to these practical suggestions because they can really make a difference whether we're joyful people or not joyful people. Listen to what it says in the second reading from Philippians. It says, have no anxiety at all. Have no anxiety at all. Don't sweat the little stuff. I understand things are going on. I understand things are going on in each and every one of us, in our individual lives and the lives of our lives. Things are going on, but maintain that big picture perspective. Have no anxiety at all. Remember, God is at work here. He's bigger than all this. Have a big perspective. Don't sweat the little stuff. Have no anxiety at all, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, make your requests known to God. Go to God with everything. Go to God with everything that you're experiencing. Your thoughts, your feelings, your desires, your pains, your joys, your sorrows, your sufferings. Go to God with everything. And pay attention to what it said. By prayer, petition, with thanksgiving, in everything. Thanksgiving, key. That's the key right there. Thanksgiving. Gratitude. That's the key. In everything, give thanks to the Lord. Gratitude, my friends. If you want to foster a life of joy in your life, be a grateful person. Foster an attitude of gratitude. Be thankful, and you can be thankful in everything. In joy, in sorrow, you can be thankful in everything. If the way to have joy in your life, the secret to joy in your life, I'll tell you right now, is gratitude. The secret to not having joy in your life is ingratitude, being a person who's not thankful. A person who is ingrateful is like an entitled little brat who thinks everything revolves around them. They can't see beyond their little nose. It's all about me. Everything is just doom and gloom and you can literally bless that person with $1 trillion and say, this is a blessing, $1 trillion, bam. Well, you didn't smile when you gave it to me. No gratitude. Do you see that? You can, I'm sorry, but have you ever given somebody money like on the street who's ungrateful? And you're like, dude, I just gave you like $100 and you're like sulking? What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? So gratitude, that's the key to joy, gratitude. You can always find a reason why to not be grateful, but I think our Lord is telling us today, foster an attitude of gratitude. And there's reason here to be grateful. Think of the big picture. Where are we right now? We're in Mesa, Arizona. Where's Mesa, Arizona? In the United States of America. The most blessed land on the face of the earth. Who else comes even close to the level of blessings that this country has? I mean, people are literally dying to get here. And yet, when you look at some of the citizens of this country, grumbling and complaining, acting as if they're in the worst situation in the world, you're like, dude, have you ever been next door? like to Mexico or even to third world countries like Zimbabwe. Have you ever been there? Do you know people don't even have something to eat and you're grumbling and complaining about this? How about some gratitude? And I'm not saying everything is perfect, but if that's your standard perfection, guess what? There ain't no such thing as a perfect society. That's why we're given Advent, okay? Advent, we're waiting for the perfect kingdom of Christ. There ain't no perfect kingdom outside of Christ. There's no such thing as a perfect society. And anytime human beings start trying to create a perfect society, they create a living hell. It's called communist Russia. It's called fascist Germany. That's human beings trying to create a perfect society. So there ain't no such thing as a perfect society. How about some gratitude? How about some gratitude for the sacrifices that have been made on your behalf to be in the position that you are in? And I'm not saying it's perfect. Of course it's not perfect, but that's the world. It's an imperfect world. But if we foster an attitude of gratitude, we realize even in our miseries, even in our darknesses, even in the places where we suffer, my life is a gift. My life is a gift. My parents are a gift. This blessing is a gift. Maybe the fact that I even had one meal a day, that's a gift. Thank you, Jesus. Wow. And the more I perceive gifts, the more I realize, at the end of the day, being that everything is a gift, maybe the way I find fulfillment in myself is to give as a gift my life the way I have received as a gift. And all of a sudden, I found the path to true joy. No man cannot find himself except in making a gift of self. That is why even in our gospel today, John tells us, he who has one tunic and you who has two tunics and who has none, give. Be generous. You give as a gift because you recognize everything around you in your life when you have an attitude of gratitude is a gift to you, and therefore it becomes easier for you to give as a gift precisely because you perceive with gratitude that you're being blessed in so many ways. And I can tell you, in this country, in the United States, we are so blessed. Like I said, it's not perfect, but we are so blessed. I think part of the problems I see in our country today, a lot of them are rooted in this lack of gratitude. Many people are not grateful for the blessings that they have been given in this land. They are so ungrateful to the point that they are now destroying the very gifts that we've been given, the gifts of liberty, the gifts of blessings, the gift of all the materials, success that we've been given. We spurn at it. Many people often ask me, as a foreigner I came here 20 years ago, they ask me, when you first came to America, Father, was there anything that caused you a culture shock? And I often, think about that. I'm like, how do I answer this? Because it's a complicated answer. So, for me, I wasn't shocked by the fact that, there's freeways or there's high-rises. We watch American TV, so we kind of expect that. We see all these people racing in the streets and doing car chases, James Bond, that kind of thing. The thing that really shocked me, to be honest, was just the lack of gratitude for the people in this country sometimes, where you're like, you're so blessed. You're so blessed with these blessings and opportunities, and yet you don't even recognize it. You're like, man, if I could just give this opportunity to somebody over there, man, they would be all over this one. But that lack of gratitude was one of the things that really shocked me. And I'm just like, wow. In Shona, we have an expression, mapudzi anowira kusina hari. Like the blessings go to those who don't acknowledge them. That's the expression, and that's the expression I often thought of every time I ran into people. My dear brothers and sisters, gratitude. If you want to accentuate joy in your life, be grateful. God is blessing you beyond measure. I'm going to give you a concrete suggestion. Maybe even at this Mass or sometime today, make an inventory of gratitude. Just think of 5 things. They don't even have to be complicated. 5 things. Write them down of at least 5 things that you're grateful for. Maybe even take a moment and ask the Lord, Lord, help me to perceive at least 5 things that I'm grateful for. And then from the bottom of your heart, say to the Lord, thank you. You'll be surprised that even when you do those 5 things, there's so many more. You could literally write an entire book of just blessings that you're enumerating. And it's just that sometimes when you have something bad happen, that takes you all your attention and you forget all these other blessings. But I just encourage you today, think of at least 5 things that you're grateful for, write them down, and then from the bottom of your heart, just tell the Lord, thank you. And as you say thank you, you will notice right away a sense of light, a sense of joy, a sense of, wow, I feel kind of special. wow, I'm so blessed. Wow, joy, blessings. Praise be Jesus Christ.